the LatinVFR A318, 319, 320, and 321neo are some great exterior model add-ons, but their cockpit and flight dynamics are lackluster. When you pair it up with the HorizonSimulations mods, it becomes an excellent add-on, a cheap alternative to the Fenix A320 series. I have both the Fenix and the LatinVFR, of course, paired with the HorizonSimulations. So today I will take a look at the 319, as well as talk about how to get it working in Flight Simulator 2024, because officially it's for 2020. The key is to install an older version of the LatinVFR. At some point, LatinVFR stopped allowing HorizonSimulations to do mods because they thought their avionics, their cockpit, was good enough to not need to be modded. But in my opinion, the HorizonSimulations is much better. It is the fly-by-wire A320 cockpit. You would use the Contrail app. That's how I did it. I don't know if you can do this from other apps. From the Contrail app, you would buy the product as normal. But you would select the pre-avionics update version. To select a different version, search for the A318, 319, or 320 product page in the Contrail app, the search in the top search bar. When no version of the aircraft is installed, you will be presented with a screen giving you two versions to choose from. Have already installed a version, it's not too late. Just uninstall that version, then you will be presented with the same screen. You can choose the older version. I believe for the 320 it is version 2.1.9, and for the 319 it is 2.1.11. By the way, the America West A319s you see in this video are all LatinVFR A319s. There is no America West paint for the Fenix A319. These are not AI traffic, nor is it VATSIM. It's flights I've done myself, recorded via Sky Dolly or Flight Recorder, and played back as traffic. Doing my best to simulate Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport in the year 2007. You can see the liveries and the aircraft types of this era. Now that you got the LatinVFR Airbus installed, it's time to get the HorizonSimulations mod. Go to flightsim.to and just search the HorizonSimulations mod for the specific model that you install. Place the folder into your community folder. It should take about 2 gigabytes and you're all set. Open up the simulator and enjoy. Here's where I hit my first snag. Pink windshields in Flight Sim 2024. Various people online offer various solutions. None work for me. The only solution I found for myself was placing the texture folder of the A320neo fly-by-wire into the folder of the LatinVFR A319 or 320 mod folder, and that fixed it. Now we'll enjoy the takeoff here. Flex SRS auto thrust blue. here's where we hit a second snag. This one doesn't have a fix, but this one is not a big deal, and that is you cannot get your transponder to turn on to TARA or TA. It's only stuck in standby mode, and I have not found a solution to this in Flight Sim 20. This is the only issue I can think of in the operations of this plane. Unfortunately, this means no other traffic will show up on your display. You'll get no TAs, no RAs. Obviously, in real life, this would be no dispatch. There's no MEL for this. I don't think. I just remembered another problem that won't prevent you from flying, but seems to be a compatibility problem with the Flight Simulator 2024, and that is GSX and parking brake setting. Another thing is outbound flights with GSX won't work because for some reason it doesn't recognize parking brake set. GSX will keep on telling you you need to set parking brakes to request ground services, but the parking brakes are set. Thankfully, the EFB is the same EFB in the fly-by-wire A3, and X, which means there's a very good pushback system where you can control the pushback via your flight stick or yoke. Everything else is also the exact same as the fly-by-wire EFB. Now enjoy this time lapse as we depart the Arizona desert over the Utah, Idaho, Washington landscape. Watch the landscape become greener and greener. British Columbia mountains, and then we unfortunately get undercast layer of clouds, as is common in real life on this route, and all the way to Anchorage, Alaska. This is now a A321neo route, but back then it was actually flown by an A319 in 2007. We'll now talk about some great things about this mod. Seems to be very realistic on aircraft flight performance, flight dynamics. I'm using the Fenix A319 as a benchmark because we all know the Fenix is pretty much spot on with their performance. And at a certain weight, if you observe the runway length it takes to take off and land, the time it gets to cruising altitude, you do it in the Fenix, and then I would do it with the same weight, same conditions in this LatinVFR plus HorizonSimulations mod A319, and it's pretty much the same. One thing it does better than the Fenix, I think, is the landing flare. I'm not an Airbus 320 pilot, so I don't really have authority to say this, but the other three jets that I've flown, the Phenom 100, that was only for 6 hours. I was never typed in that. The E175 and the A220 all flare in a similar manner because they're all airplanes and the physics is the same. And so if those are any benchmarks, this LatinVFR with the HorizonSimulations mod actually flares more realistically than the Fenix A320 for me. It's very hard to get a smooth landing out of the Fenix A320 because for me the flare always seems a little more delayed than I expect. And I've heard even A320 pilots dispute this on the internet, with some saying that the Fenix is pretty spot on, while others say it's not realistic. And I think this also has to do with your individual sensitivity settings on the stick. So I'm not going to judge the Fenix too badly for that. But for me, this LatinVFR plus HorizonSim Airbus series flare like I would expect an airplane to flare, as you'll see in a few minutes here. It's very hard to do that kind of landing with the Fenix. You see here we're entering a hold for a while now due to weather down there in Anchorage. One complaint about the exterior model I have, and this extends to 318, 319, 320CO, and the 321neo that LatinVFR has, is the nose gear seems to be not compressed at all. It's very tall and if they could just simulate a little bit of compression in that gear, that would make it look much more realistic on the ground. Other than that, the exterior model is pretty awesome. It seems to be a little bit more frame rate friendly than the Fenix. Here we are descending over Cook Inlet. You can see Anchorage Airport at the point right there. In real life, if you fly this route, you're a passenger looking out the window, look out for beluga whales. This is not a bad place to see beluga whales. We've been cleared for the visual approach, runway 7 right, at the runway in sight. HorizonSimulations mod, it really gives most things that you're looking for in the Fenix. I just wish that LatinVFR didn't stop their collaboration with HorizonSimulations, because without the HorizonSimulations mod, the default LatinVFR instruments are not realistic at all. It is not worth it at all unless you get the HorizonSimulations mod, in my opinion. I give this aircraft an 8.5 out of 10. and in the future I will make a tutorial for it. Today's video was more about the installation process, which I've gotten a lot of questions on, rather than a tutorial.